Here I'm standing, thinking about you, wondering how long has it been. There you're sitting by the doorway, wishing we could start over again. Your eyes fixed straight at me, trying to figure out what you see. Now you're gone. I hope this finds you well. This simple message is me confessing I have no clue when we stopped talking since then. I hope this finds you well. My only guess is you're just suppressing all bad feelings from stop happening again. But I hope this finds you well. We just evaporate.
I was last second, last minute I'm doing this. I said I wasn't because I'm going to do a Zoom, but I'm leaving. Well, tell you what, I'll just adjust this. I got a new light, little ring light by a company called Newer. You probably see it, N-E-W, like the word new, E-E-R. I don't know why they did that. Maybe who knows? Maybe it keeps them from being copied or gives them a nice little trademark, whatever. I mean, no. I'm just kind of hodgepodge everything together. In fact, I'm using my basic camera. That's why the green screen. I don't even have a green screen up. I just have this back logo up. And there's always upgrades to this program. I paid a year ago. Well, not a year ago. At the end of the year, like December, you know how they have those Black Friday things? And there's a lot of memberships that I have or had where they give you a massive deal. And I need a deal on everything. Plus, I like them. I could have $1 billion in the bank and I'd still look for the deal. I'm just frugal that way. I used to sneak my own drinks into the bar that I worked at where I got free drinks. Can you believe that? When I would drink, because they're like, what are they, like $30 a drink? Something like that. I don't know how people do it, man. I see people go to the bar all the time. They're like, well, give me 2 more, buy them 3. I'm like, I can't do it. I don't know. And I really did. I always say this and it sounds bad. And I did pay my taxes, so I can say this safely, especially with everything going on. That I did. I used to make hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars in a single day, just by doing these parties that I can't do anymore because COVID, competition, cheaper people. So that's what happened. Anyway, so I know that most people will just pop in for 2 seconds, like, oh nope, gotta go. It's like pulling into the wrong driveway. So, that's why I want to do the Zoom. So I'm letting people know because I do always have at least a couple dozen people. And there's probably another dozen or so that have been diehards that I don't talk to. They haven't sent me messages in 4 or 5 years, but then they'll send me something out of the blue. Hey, I still see you, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. I haven't, popped in 3 years or something like that, whatever. And, I was thinking about it. I never really put thought to it because I was the only one doing it. And I would look at other people's stuff and going, are they doing the same thing I'm doing? They got to be doing it because I'm depressed as hell and doing it. And they're happy as hell. And, so they must be doing it. So, obviously that didn't happen for a lot of people. And I think the template for most people, regardless of how good or not your life is, birthdays, funerals, kid stuff. And I already said this before, so I'm not going to go over all that. And I never tried to do it to turn anybody off or turn anybody on. It was more or less just me venting. And I was walking into the garage today because I've thought this thousands of times. It's been almost 6 years. And just to give you guys a heads up, whoever's watching, because it always shows like 2 people watching, but then, I don't know, then the algorithm is, is so my mom just walked in. Mom and Dad must have went out to eat because both their cars were here. Somebody must have taken them out. People do that sometimes. They take them out to eat, which is cool. And I just got home because I was out by the marker where my son was hit exactly 6 years ago in a couple of weeks. And his birthday was a week after. And it wasn't until probably a few, maybe, I don't know, a month or two or whatever, I started adding stuff to it. And I was out there today, and I actually brought a saw. I've had this saw. I had this Ryobi kit I bought about 20 years ago, give or take, maybe 15, and it still works great. You know, and I only have one battery because the original batteries died, and I bought two new batteries a few years ago, and then one of them died, but the other one, that thing can't be stopped. And I use it. I was chopping down branches with the same blade I've been using for like 4 years to chop up Dura flame logs in my fireplace. I must have put like 10,000 miles on this blade. So it's kind of funny. And, you know, so now I was out there, and the weeds that are on the side of the road, because it's on a forest, a very moist forest, Holly Recreational Park. And they were like about this thick and about 4 feet tall easily. So no weed whip was going to work on that I brought. And luckily I had this saw, and this thing cut through everything. I must have cut through 40 plus 50 things and just sawzawed them all down. Then I weed whipped, and then I chopped on more brand. And this thing still had some more charge. So I went by the trees and I chopped down branches that were growing for the last 2-3 plus years that I just like overhang. So I let more light in because there's a lot of solar powered lights there. Some of them died. But sorry, I got up my nose. And but anyway, what happened? So I cleaned it up, and I took some of the dead lights, because sometimes I'll leave them, but I tested them, and I added some more because I got a bunch during Prime Day. And I hear something in the background. I got the background suppressor on, so you guys won't hear it. Whoever sees this later, and because I'm just, this wasn't. In fact, I didn't even come on right at 10 o'clock, which is fine. Hold on a second. Let me shut this door. Hold on. So anyway, oh crap. As soon as my dad got home, he turned on the TV, and the Wi-Fi just jumped way down. And it's the Wi-Fi I use. Because it's my Wi-Fi, but he uses it. But he's got a big TV, so it sucks all the data. So I hope the quality is not super bad, even though it's kind of fuzzy here. Anyway, so I just wanted to, it's the end of the summer practically, the Dream Cruise. I didn't go by it today. It was a big night. I used to live right next to it for years. In fact, I was one of the first, I think I was the first DJ, because I had some guys telling me about it back then. And they go, they're gonna do this thing tonight out of Ferndale, and I'm in Royal Oak. And they said, hold on, let me turn off my Wi-Fi just to help it out. They're gonna hate me when I leave. But anyway, so because I'm going to Nashville next week for a handful of days to go set up shop down there, and if all works out well, eventually before the end of the year, I'll be down there permanently. And I'm changing my phone number. I've had a 248 phone number, the same number, for over 27 years. And because my daughter, a friend of her, Emerson, he was working with Sprint and Nextel. They were kind of merging, I guess, at the time. And he gave us a bunch of, me and my ex-wife phones. And she was pregnant with Sabrina. And, we got to look over there. And she was pregnant. And so my neighbor goes, hey, you guys got these 2 phones, and I'll give them to you for like, a year free or something like that. And so I stuck with it, and they merged, and it became Nextel. And then it became, or was it Sprint? I can't remember. And then it became a bunch of other stuff after. And I changed like right after my son died, but I think we went to Xfinity. But anyway, so the phone number stayed the same. I'm just a loyal at certain things until it closes or somebody dies. And but I'm starting to make some massive changes, not that it matters, but I do have some really people everywhere, even here in Michigan, I do. And, I don't have that normal life where like right now, it's probably a bunch of house parties, pool parties, boat parties. I live on one of the coolest lakes in Michigan. I got a totally tricked out pontoon, massive sound system, wet bar, you name it. It's about $85,000 pontoon out there. I don't even go on it. I don't even go on it. Like my brother came and he used it today. He had some girls, they look like strippers. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. And so what I did is I got in my car, grabbed a sawzall, grabbed a few other things, and I went up to the marker, cleaned it up, And I didn't go live. I recorded it, but I didn't because I don't want people thinking that's. So I go up there 2, 3, 4 times a year, maybe. And I went up there early because I don't know if I'm going to be here in September, and it's hard. It gets harder. I don't know why, but it was like 90 degrees blazing out there, and I think because the rain came for like an hour. Remember, if you're in Michigan, in the Detroit area, I think the rain came for like an hour. Not even that bad. The sun stayed out. It just got a little gloomy for a minute, but it cooled that 90 degrees down till about 80 something, and it made him. I wasn't miserable out there. It was pretty nice actually. Um, and so I got that done, and then I stopped at this place called Ollie's. You ever know what Ollie's is? Like a dollar store on steroids. Um, Man, I see that Wi-Fi thing really low. Hold on, I gotta look at my phone. Crap. There'll be a drag if that's. Of course, it's not coming on. Hold on. Oh, why not even be on? Wow. Wait, is it? I don't know. Oh, here it is. Wow. Okay, I'm looking at it. Huh. Okay. Oh, I can't hear anything because I'm not talking. Okay. It's kind of funny when I watch it. Weird looking. Um, it's funny. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off. All right. So anyway, like I said, I don't even know who's watching. If anybody's watching because it's too nice at night. Today was actually the anniversary of Elvis, and I remember when Elvis died in 1977. Today, I heard about it. I was a little boy, and I wished him. I said, you know what? I was hoping that he would give me his voice because that's when I started writing songs on paper. I was writing songs, but I wasn't. I started writing them down on paper. I was 14, and I was going, oh please, I know it's weird, goofy. And I was hoping he'd give me his voice because I thought the guy was so cool. And of course that didn't happen. But anyway, I kept the newspaper the next day that came out in the Detroit News. I still have it somewhere in my storage unit, and I've had it in a case for years, and then I had it on a wall, and I had it in a back corner, so it got a little sun damaged. You can still see it. I still have it, and I'm thinking this thing's 20 years old. This thing's 30 years old. This thing's 40 years old, and in 2 years from today, it'll be 50 years old. Isn't that crazy? 50 years old. I kept it. So today's that day, the anniversary of it, and it kind of coincides with the Dream Cruise because who would be more formidable than that for classic cars, vintage rock and roll, the whole thing. And he crossed genres, gospel, rock and roll, which he pretty much helped create, and rhythm and blues kind of thing. So that's where all the major groups started forming, like the Beach Boys and Chuck Berry and all these other, they were kind of, that era. So, yeah, I didn't have anything to do with that this year. I thought I had something, but I didn't. So I'm just getting ready to pack up, and I'm gonna try to get rid of a lot of my stuff, and head back down. In fact, a lot of different guys called me from Nashville, or the guys I met in Nashville today, and I was like, it's pretty cool. I love that place. I'm actually outside of it, but they're always downtown, Broadway, Division Street, you name it, and it's just a whole different vibe. It really is. They don't have the lakes like Michigan does. But, in another month or so, they're going to be, in fact, in less than a month, most of the boats are going to be wrapped up for another 6, 7 months. So it's a good time to go. Plus, like I said, I could have been there, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be there on his birthday and all that. That's just too much. So, but I really want to do stuff that's positive. I've written a ton of songs with Ableton, a little bit of AI, but mostly just things that came off my head. In fact, I go to the piano, I start playing riffs when they're not here, and sometimes they hear me and I record them, and then I put them to beats and synthesizers and different sounds and samples, and then I record my voice singing the song most of the time, and then I put it into an AI thing, and then I'll pick a song, a singer. Sometimes it's a heavy metal rocker, sometimes it's a gospel singer, sometimes it's R&B, And then that's kind of, I combine old and new tricks. And because I think that's where it's going to go anyway. I really do. And then, people can hear it and go, yeah, I want to sing it. Cool. So anyway, where am I at with this? What was I going to say? So I know this has gotten old, and it's not, but I want to keep in touch with whoever wants to. And I've been trying to figure that out for a long time. And I've known it because I've been doing Zoom for the past couple of years, 2 or 3 years. And I didn't know it could overlap with this program because I got kind of used to it. The loyal thing kind of stupid. You know, it's like you don't want to change your ways, the way you make something or cook something or drink something. So, and they're constantly updating this. They're constantly using, different techniques, technologies, even AI. Everything's using AI now. And I thought, well, how do I cross Zoom? Because I like the fact that, like, the people that I deal with in the music industry, they use Zoom. They don't do this out in public, even on Facebook. What they do is they invite people, and they can get as many people as they want. Now, I don't have enough to buy the service right now. I mean, I could. I just don't want to put myself in that position because I don't use it enough to do it. But if I can get like even an hour and then, reach back to people. So I don't care about the other ones who ignore me. I don't care about that. I get ignored here. It's like a Saturday night, and I went by the teen club about a mile and a half, not even a mile and a half from there, that I grew up with. I went for like 4 or 5 years during high school. And I didn't have any friends my age in high school. They were always, a year or two younger. And I don't know, I just didn't fit in with people my age for some reason. It was weird. But I was really popular with the people younger than me, if that made sense. It's crazy. And then, so I was at the teen club, and the DJ, Scott, who, became a friend of mine. Well, we've known each other for years, but we got closer the last couple of years. I haven't talked to him in a while, but, we did a podcast on the Spanky's Teen Club. And, we figured out about 2.5+ million people had walked through those doors in that span of time. And we were even discounting the people that had repeaters, just people over that many weekends for 10 years. And I thought, wow. And I drove by it, and the building's still the same. The brick and the design and the parking lot's still the same. The traffic around it is still the same. It's just the building, it's different. I thought, God, that was 40 years ago, over 40 years ago. And I went live on it like I was waiting in line and tonight, right before I came out here. And, this was after I, left my son's marker about 15 miles past that road. And I went to Planet Fitness right before that, and because they're like everywhere. So I worked out, I did some chest, abs, and tries. And I thought, so I did something positive. And by the way, I lost 25 pounds this year, 25 pounds. I mean, I was always in pretty decent shape. And everyone calls me Stallone. I was sitting in Costco yesterday in Bloomfield Hills. It's a nice city about 5 miles from here, not even. And I grew up on that area years ago. And I was at a Costco, and I was backed up under a tree. You know how sometimes there are those trees on the little islands? And it was because it's hot out, but that little bit of shade drops me at about 10 degrees, and I can open my windows no matter how hot it is. Just that shade always cools us off. It's a Mexican thing. I don't know what it is. But what happened? Oh, these two African-American ladies walked by, and I had my headphones on. Because when my car's off, I don't want to leave the Bluetooth speaker on. So I'm talking to somebody on the phone, or I'm listening to music. I got these at Costco too. These are actually really good. They sound amazing, and I have every kind, Bose, you name it, JBL. But I really like these a lot. And anyway, so they're like motioning to me, they're saying stuff to me. They're going, and I'm thinking, what are they saying? And so I didn't say anything back. Because I just was real instantly. I was just really nice. I go, can I help you? And they said, you look like Rocky. I go, what? They go, you look like Rocky. We were walking by. I go, you look like Rocky. I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I do. I get that everywhere. And I'm going, wait a minute. Is that a compliment? After all this time hearing it, the last 2, 3 years, I don't know. I've been hearing it for the last couple of years, and especially in Tennessee, I get it all the time. Anyway, they'll stop me in the bathroom. You look like Stallone. You look like Rambo. I'm like, what? So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, I go, I'm contemplating about this and all that, and I thought to myself, I want to make $1 billion. I got to make $1 billion. I need to make $1 billion. I got to make hundreds of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. I deserve it. I do. Hundreds of millions of dollars. And then, I thought, what would I do with $100 million, right? Well, it's because I want to give back to the people. Because I figure a lot of people that have normal, good lives don't want to hear what I had to say, right? And I used to be like that. I went from nothing to having money in my pocket all the time, always having a brand new car, credit cards like crazy, every kind you could think of. I never paid for a lap dance or a girl. I never had to wine or dine her. I never had to impress her with my car, my boat, nothing. I didn't. I went from dateless to doing the one thing that every guy I've ever known, loves to do more than anything in the world, meet women, right? But one thing I was always cool about is I always treated them good. I was always respectful. I really was. And now I work for ladies that are older than I do, that are very prominent. They're socialites. They've made a lot of money. They're very successful. They're educated. I can't tell you all their names. And that's how I've been surviving the last couple of weeks. And no, it's nothing. I ain't that guy. Okay. But I try to take care of them like a bodyguard, like a butler, like you name it. I'm like a human Swiss Army knife guy. And I'm very respectful to them. I'll argue with them sometimes. I'll talk to them like I'm talking to a guy, but I do, I do have breaks when I talk to them. But I also, I love taking care of good people. And that's what I was trying to figure out the last 6 years of my life, coming on 6 years since my son died, because I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to get high. I never, I never did heroin. I never did crystal meth. I didn't do any of those drugs ever, not once, not even touched it. I've seen it, I've seen everything. I've seen more coke. Scarface ain't got nothing on me. Trust me, I've seen piles of it, untouched, no fentanyl, nothing. You could just stick your head in it going crazy, right? Liquor, same thing. Women, forget about it. And I didn't. I really didn't. And I thought about that. I told my kids that. I said, when I die, I told all three of them 2 weeks before Dante died. I said, when I die, you're not going to hear that I try to steal from anybody, take somebody's woman, sell drugs. I didn't do anything, any of that stuff. I'm putting it out there. I don't care, because nobody cares. Nobody cares about what I do. But you know what? I like helping people. And what I learned about good people, a lot of good people, genuinely good people, doesn't matter where they're from. Some are very sad. Some are very depressed. It sounds kind of negative, right? It's not. They feel let down, or they feel lonely. And I thought, you know what? And I was a guy that when my life was good, and I didn't have to worry about nothing. I didn't have to worry about parking. My car was parked right next to the door. I didn't have to worry about drinks, and my friends, whatever they wanted, they got. And they didn't get the cheap stuff. That was real. That was, what kind of rum? And very rarely did I ever have to, talk to a group of girls and think, like stressed out about it. Never. Didn't care. But the one thing I did, even when my life was full of that, people thought I had this big ego or whatever. I was like, whatever. Is that I loved the reaction of those people that you knew weren't going to get a date very easy, or had their only $20 in their pocket they could, afford to come there with. And it wasn't just 2 or 3 people. It was a lot of people. People it's like a gym. They go, walk in and scared. You know what I mean? That's why Planet Fitness figured it out, because I see people walking into that Planet Fitness more than any other gym in the world. I hate to say it, even my own gym that I belonged to for 30 years, because you could be the most out of shape, don't know what you're doing person, and you go in there and you feel like it's your second home. And that's the funny thing. That's what people want. They don't want to be alone. They don't want to be lonely. And they want to do something positive. Listen to music, watch TV. You can't even hear the TVs. There's 20 TVs. You can't even, like, what? You know, you get your CNN, you get your Fox. I'm surprised there's not a war. Right? And people from every walk of life are in these gyms, no matter where I go. They figured it out. And that's what I was trying to do here, right? I was trying to do that here. Did I succeed at it? Not like I thought maybe would happen. But what I did think was there's a handful of people. And when I tried to turn it off, there'd be 2-3 people here and there saying, hey, I saw your thing. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want nobody to know that sees me. They're afraid. That's another funny. I think it's a myth. I don't know, but they figure if they see themselves on my podcast or whatever you call this, liking it or commenting on it, that friends are going to see it. And so people would send me messages when I was doing this thing. You ever see me times I'm going, oh, let me think. Oh, I'm picking a song. I see messages like, oh, you saved me tonight. Tonight was my last night. And they were going to do something bad, or they were crying themselves to sleep. And I'm going, God, why me? Like, I already have enough problems, right? But I made friends out of a lot of those people. And the karma that happened back, I wanted to share. And I told that to a friend of mine tonight. I says, if I could do anything, it would be allowing you the magic that when you get older, because he's a lot younger than me, he's a very outgoing guy. Very outgoing, very friendly, crazy. In fact, I'm going to see him probably next weekend down in Nashville. I haven't seen him in about 1.5 years. And we all live together. And I said, if I can wish you anything, and he loves women. I said, I'm not going to say his name. And he's really funny. And he likes to party. And I said, not, I know you got all that handled. I said, but if, one day when you get to be close to my age, I know, a lot of people have their circle of friends that they go golfing with or play cards with. I get that. And I'm not that guy, so that's why I probably don't go. But what I do know is that you're going to find people that don't look like you, that aren't even the same age by a long shot. 10, 20, 30 years your junior or older. And you're going to find chemistry when you least expect it. And I have that everywhere. I have that all over the world. I have that all over, more than Michigan. Michigan is my krypton. That's my krypton. But it's okay because it gave me the fact that I don't go out and hang out. I accomplished a lot. Not just today with my son or at the gym. I help, do stuff around here. I finished recording a bunch of songs today. I've got somebody that's, really happy. And she's really connected. And I don't care what she does for me, but she's really happy. And even with all the money that she's had in her life, she loves the fact, I helped her with a song. And I just thought, it's a beautiful song, let me fix it up a little bit. Let me change some, phrases on it and the chord structures and the melody, and, she called me up and she goes, man, and she was in a bad place because she lost her husband a couple of years ago. Like I said, you're going to lose that one person that's going to, you're going to lose a lot of people in your life that you grew up with. You're going to know for 20, 30, 40 years. You already know this. And then you're going to go to the wake, some Italian restaurant or somewhere, and you're going to have, salad, soup. You're going to see a bunch of pictures, and then you're going to go back to work. And a week later, you're unfazed. You're not going to be affected. You're like, oh man, Fred's gone, or Cheryl's gone, or somebody's gone, right? And man, we used to go on trips together for years, but there's going to be that one person, that one person. As a matter of fact, I was at a party the other night, two weekends ago. Probably one of the nicest, coolest parties I've ever been to. In fact, the guy that owns the house, the place, was a billionaire, and his wife, who's a mutual friend of me, my brother, and a whole bunch of other people I know. She had this big party. I mean, I've been to weddings this expensive, a lot mostly, and it was because a dog died. A dog. I'm an animal lover, so I get it. But some people started laughing when I told them. They thought it was full of shit. They did. They thought, what, a dog? And it was over the top. It was over the top. even had a video montage for it for like 5 minutes. So, you know, when I write my songs, some of them are happy, some of them are like heavy metal. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. Some are like syrupy ballads. But it's about changing the game. So this is my thing. And I know my Facebook's worn out. It's like an old newspaper that's ripped, that a dog soiled on. So, I want to change my number. I want to turn this part off. Even this video will disappear in 30 days because that's what Facebook is doing that now. They're getting rid of all the videos after a while. So, it's Saturday night. Most of you are not, are whoever sees this later, I hope you had a good night tonight. Enjoy the weather. Elvis, the Dream Cruise, wherever you're at, in whatever time zone that you've seen this. But, the one thing I think you've learned, if anything, through the ups and downs and the real and the raw that I've given you, good or bad, is it's helped me too. Because I used to sit there and go, God, how did I get this far? And, and if you're not going through anything, then disregard. But if, you remember this part, I hope you do. It's like having a fire extinguisher. I hope you never have to use it in your car or your house or kitchen or whatever, because most people don't know what's that anyway. And they freak out. Most people out the door. 90% of people out there, you have 4 fire extinguishers. They're like, so let me give you something before you break the glass. All right. I have to call 911 while you're watching everything go up in flames. No matter how good or bad your life you think it is, there's always going to be good people out there that you can see. And they're not going to be anything like you. They're not going to have the same history, go to the same school. Some will. But even with that, you're going to feel like there's not enough people. My son died, for example. I didn't care how many people I knew. That guy wanted to get rid of everybody. I was like, fuck this, And I'm happier alone now more than ever. But when I'm around good people, and it's why I kept a lot of people, and being a good person, as I'm walking through Ollie's, this giant dollar store kind of warehouse today, right between Planet Fitness and Marker and Spanky's. I did a lot of shit. In fact, I went to Subway. It's going to eat my Subway on the way back. The app, they got 40% off right now. It's pretty good. The thing is that you're going to find yourself in a spot where you feel like it's not enough. You got to have like 4 extra drinks to shake off that depression, or that girlfriend that isn't treating you right, or that boyfriend you think did you wrong, or your husband or wife or whoever, or your friends or your job, whatever, what I'm saying. And like, God, I can't afford this. I can't make it through. I don't know what I'm doing. I've had that code for the last years, but I got a brand new car out there, thanks to a good friend of mine. He didn't pay for anything. He just took it out. And I just kept finding a way to pay my bills, even through the rough crap. And there were people when my son died that, donated to my, a charity that my now ex-sister-in-law, because my brother got divorced a couple months ago, I guess. And I really liked her. Her name was Rose. Rose, if you see this, you were a great sister-in-law. You really were, to me anyway. And you're the reason that, you helped me when my son died more than any. I didn't even want you to do it. And, I don't know why. And, she's not on my Facebook anymore because she unfriended everybody just because. But I hope this finds her well. I hope somehow I put it out in the universe, even if everybody ignores me, even if nobody's watching. I hope this finds her well. And I hope that the people out there, and she comes from the house is probably the size of like a mall. Just to give you. She's beautiful physically, facially. She's an amazing person. She's a great mother. Her mom was amazing, who passed during COVID. So money wasn't a thing. And, but, now she's divorced from my brother. Her kids are all grown up, my niece and nephews, or my nephew and nieces. Let me switch that. And that's just one of many examples, one of many, many examples. We all have that. But when you're going through your pain, your loneliness, your frustration, your anger, because people want to think you're crazy. You're not going crazy. Crazy is when you walk into a store and start stabbing people. You know, but that situation is that you can. It's a pain that you think will never go away, and I get that. And it's a lonely place because after a while, people many times don't want to talk to you, be around it. They're scared of it. They don't know how to deal with it. They're tired of it. It's all the reasons. Just like me, right? But when I get a message once a week, once a day. I mean, I get so many friend requests. I've done this. It's like I've got more friend requests in the past 2 months from people that I vetted. They know a lot of similar people. I'm like, why are they doing that? But then I'll get messages. Yeah, I did message. I did ask for you friends. I wanted to follow you because I heard, stuff. And I'm going, well, I'm not a trained expert. But life kind of gives you that expertise, so to speak. And I hope that if I make a lot of money, and I was joking, by the way, because I would just give it all away and helping people, good people out there. But even the best people, I don't care who you are, how much money you have, what school you went to, what church you're going to go to tomorrow, or place of worship. You all have that bad side, those addictions, those vices. And does it make you evil? No. It just makes you imperfect. It makes you human. And it makes you sometimes not capable of handling the things you thought you could always handle. And look at other people and go, that ain't never going to happen to me, or God, what's wrong with them? Why can't they get over it? But there's going to come that time. I wish I could say, I hope it never happens. I hope it never happens to you. And even for those who haven't been affected, maybe they can go, okay, I get you a little bit. And it's okay if you get mad at those people that, can't get over something or cry in the shoulder too many times. Sometimes you got to say, hey, you know what, just keep going. Don't do anything stupid. Don't keep drinking that drink and getting in a car. Stay home when you do that. And get drunk, throw up in the toilet and jump in and fall into your bed. That's what you're going to do, right? I mean, what else are you going to do? You can't stop people from grieving. You can't stop people from being miserable or sad. And a lot of people harbor it, right? It's Saturday night. It's a great summer here in Michigan. Weather, a lot of places, has really been good. Hot. A couple months, it'll be cooler, right? Like there's hurricanes about to come up to the south of Florida again. Life's always going to be different. But somehow we manage to get through it. With all the crap that's going on in the world, the wars, all the other stuff, we manage to get through it. And then there will come a point in time where the time will be up. And that's the one thing. Don't let people and things get in your way 100%. I have to tell myself that every day. Like, just keep going, keep pushing, because one day your time's going to end. So you know what I did? I made a goal. I said, well, actually several goals. I'm going to make everything work as hard as I can. And a lot of it didn't work at all. Even with people, that I know trying to help me. And like Nashville, people are asking me, well, what's going to happen? Like, you're going to make whatever? I don't know. But you know what? I've got almost 100 songs in my queue. Every kind, even stuff that they don't even play in Nashville. But if somebody approaches me, I'm like, I even got a Christmas song. So chance favors the prepared mind. I didn't make that up. And if something happens, great. Nothing happens, I accept it. And is that a good mentality? Yeah, some people go, yes, no. What if I didn't do any of this stuff? I mean, I'm older. Why should I be pursuing songwriting when half the songwriters in Nashville wouldn't even work with me? Why am I going back? Because it's not them. It's the way they do things. If they're happy making no money and getting no place fast, that's great. I'm trying to figure out what they're doing wrong and what they're doing right, and push myself past that. It's a weird thing. It's okay. I'll give you a better example. When I was a kid in high school, they wanted me to join the track team. Somebody thought I was a big runner because they saw me running. I'll be honest with you, I sucked. They saw me running, but it must have been like that one moment, fluke moment, you know what I'm talking about. And so I joined the team, and I couldn't run. I couldn't run down the hallway. I was out of breath. I really was. And next thing you know, I remember there's a show called The $6 Million Man, and this really cute cheerleader looks at me, and she kind of liked me, but I was too shy for her. And she goes, "You're like a $6 million man when you're running." I goes, "That like?" She goes, "No, that's really cool." She got that dee 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 dee. You know, I'm like, okay. Well, that motivated me because she was so cute, right? And I started running, so I forced myself, and I could taste you run so hard, like you can taste the blood. It's like, and I just kept going. Next thing you know, I'm running a mile. Next thing you know, I'm running 2 miles, 3 miles, 8 miles, and next thing you know, I'm getting faster. I'm getting faster than the rest of the team, and I start jumping over shopping carts at the supermarket I worked at. And they're made out of metal. So if you go over it and skim the bottom of your leg, you're ripping your leg off. Well, luckily, it didn't happen. I tore my pants once, just a little bit. They were shorts actually. So it's like whatever. And I left the tear there. I didn't care. But I was able, because the shopping carts were so high and so apart, and I knew that I would get hurt. But I wouldn't do it again, but I did then. That it made me go faster and jump higher than I did. Well, I became a high hurdler, and I was the best one on the team. Next thing you know, that went from getting teased like, he's on the track team, he sucks, to being one of the guys that was, pretty good. And I used it for a lot of things, and I taught my son that. And when he was on the track team, even with asthma, he had asthma. He had an inhaler. I don't know if anybody really knew that. In fact, when he died, I kept it next to his bed. That's why when I found out he was vaping, I got mad. I go, "Are you kidding me? You have asthma, and you're an athlete." But anyway, he became that guy. He had that mindset. He didn't even have the bad part. He had the good part. I gave him the good part. And I told him the bad part, but I said, you don't have to deal with that. Just go for the good part. The good part. That's one of my favorite phrases I use now, because I look for the good parts. Even in the best people, even the best people I know, religious, not religious, right wing, left wing, whatever you want to call it. There's good and bad in everybody. And I look for the good parts. Just like a movie or a song, an album. Remember we see those albums? They would have like 7, 8, 9 songs. I don't care if it was Pringles, Rolling Stones, Ozzy Osbourne. There's 3 songs on that album you don't like. You'll force yourself to play it because you paid $12 for the album. Remember that? But when you go to play them as a DJ, they don't want to hear the B tracks. They want to hear that one hit. Imagine 300 Beatles songs, and I can't even play 290 of them. Like, what am I going to play? Penny Lane at a party? I can't. It's usually what do I play? Twist and Shout. That's it. Just 17. So yeah, you find the good parts. And that's what you do with you on your worst day. Just take it from me. I'm nobody. That's why I'm getting off of this. The best parts of you. It's not the ego. I mean, that might push you, because that's what pushes all of us to do better or dress better, whatever. But the best parts are when you look at people, you can go, you know what? I can find the best parts in them that connect with the best parts of me. And that's what happened with me in Nashville. I got to start over. I can't imagine not going to Nashville. The hundreds and thousands of people that I probably know from several cities and counties where I grew up. And I used to be, I never had that kind of synergy like I do there. There's only a couple of people I have that with here, maybe 3, 4 guys, and a couple girls, but I don't really talk to them that much because they got boyfriends or husbands. But down in Nashville, it's crazy. I called the guys today. Go, hey, I'm coming down. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, we're good for you. They all call me back. And then I called my buddy that was down there in Colorado. He's in Colorado. He goes, hey, I'm going there Thursday. Yeah, let's rock it out. Nashville saved my life more than you ever could imagine. I can't even imagine had I not left. I can't even imagine. And the only reason I came back here was because I had to get my driver's license and my truck renewed, which I have to come back here in November no matter what. Well, number one was my daughter. I thought I was going to get her back. Actually, I thought I was going to move back because of my daughter, Sophia. I haven't seen Sophia. In January, it'll be 3 years on her birthday, and she'll be 16. I haven't seen her since she was 13. Could you imagine? I said this before. You know how many Jewish people go nuts? They spend $50,000 on a 13-year-old kid. I've seen it. Trust me. Bar and bat mitzvah. L'chaim. Right? Yeah, no, that's what I went through. So, and I'm still waiting a year later for the court case to come back, figuring out what they did. Oy vey. But anyway, what was the third reason? I don't even remember. Well, it was probably a good one, but it doesn't matter. So, but Nashville was the good parts of my life. I didn't think there was any good parts left. I didn't think there was any good parts of my life. Michigan, I call it Michiganst me, I can't make anything happen here very much. I'm lucky I got to help this lady I used to work for. She saved my life. And my buddy Ross, he helped me a lot. Not as much as last year, but even this year, that's still a lot. Whatever he did, even if he did it one time, he did a lot for me. He doesn't owe me anything. And nobody owes. Like I have this friend that reminds me. He goes, you said that nobody owes you. Nobody owes you anything, but there are people that can lift you up a little. There's an exception to that, and that's what I try to do. What I did this on my worst day with nothing, losing everything. On my worst day with nothing, losing everything, I came here and I tried to help a lot of people. I lost a lot of people in the process. People I thought I would never lose, young and old, people. Most people that I grew up with, because they couldn't deal with they don't even invite me to parties because they, oh my God, I can't look at my kids because then I'll think of Chris. And I'm like, no, love your kids. Am I jealous? Okay, I'll help you with that. Maybe, because I'm not a jealous person by nature. Okay, that's a real answer, right? But here's the thing. I would never want nobody. I remember when Neil Rockheim, a very prominent lawyer friend of mine, and his beautiful wife, Karen, they got money. They're young, attractive. They had 3 beautiful kids. Beautiful, beautiful, handsome men, young, Dante's age, a daughter, very talented. And money's no object, right? And he told me at the funeral, Chris, I can't even imagine. He goes, no father should bury his kid, right? Well, last year he did. Over a year ago he did. And now they're in my situation. But he still has to be a lawyer. She still has to be a wife. They still have to be parents. So I don't wish that on nobody. And I want you to have great kids. And if you don't have kids, I want you to have a great relationship. And if you don't have a relationship, I want you to have a great whatever, all the good parts. And if you don't ever want to talk to me, look at me, and I have people ending their friendships with me all the time. That app tells me, I'm like, didn't I try to help you? Don't ever think. It's funny when you have a window to the world in that department, that you think people are all going to be loyal to you because of what you've done for them. That's not true. You could invite them to all your best parties. You could give them money. You could save their life. You can introduce them to the love of their life. And people will still find their way in the name of Allah, in the name of God, in the name of whatever they think, and they'll still find the bad parts. Don't be that. That's the other advice I would give somebody that I've never given before. Don't be an asshole. Don't be greedy. Don't be stingy. Don't be judgmental. Don't be a narcissist. Don't be a passive-aggressive, two-faced person. That will get me unfriended. And that's okay, because I've replaced everybody in my life already a long time I don't go out of my way to call anybody anymore, but I wish them well. I really genuinely do. People 2, 3 miles from here, I wish them well. I see them. I hear about them. And we all have that. Not just you, me, and if your life is fast paced and you got things going on, you're not going to notice it. You don't notice things. Here's a good example. I'll give you one more example, and this will make sense to you. You could live in the neighborhood with a really good memory, 20/20 vision, think you know all your neighbors, and you're going to go down your streets. A few houses there, a few houses there, a few houses there. And when you're driving by it, and then one day you're going to notice something going, God, I never really noticed that house or that house or that house or those people. I pass their house 1,000 times, right? Because you're moving too fast. You only laser focus selectively on things that matter. People that you know that your kids go to school with, or the people that you become friends with down the street. Right? So, and you're going to go, wow, like I got great neighbors. So yeah, they're killing the Wi-Fi. Sorry about that. But long story short, you're only going to have a handful. I saw a girl, a woman, she's probably close to my age. I met her at Costco a few months ago. I don't know, back in the beginning of the summer. I didn't recognize her. I didn't know who she was. She's on my Facebook now. And it's funny, about back in the late 70s or early 80s, I was working with this guy that ended up marrying her at that grocery store that's about 2 miles from here. 2 miles. I worked at it for like 4 years off and on, maybe 3.5 years during high school. And his name was Bob. We used to argue about who was better. I was a Journey guy, Steve Perry Journey, loving, touching, squeezing, and he loved REO Speedwagon. And I like REO Speedwagon too, but I chose that. To be honest with you, I like Van Halen even better. But Journey was Journey and REO Speedwagon. Oh, and then Styx. We threw Styx in there, how it goes. But those were the two rival bands. He was REO, I was Journey. And we had a lot of great times. Well, after I quit, right before I graduated high school, I never saw him again. And he lived right in a real nice home in Wabeek. It's a really, really nice part of West Bloomfield, one of the richest cities in Michigan. And real nice house. And we lost touch. I never saw him again. I saw him on Facebook the other day because his wife, who I met at Costco, in fact, I saw her yesterday. And she was folding clothes because she works there, when you walk in the door. Because I love their clothes. Hell, $13 for a polo, that's great, right? She was really friendly. She saw me. Her name's Shelly. Hey, Shelly, if you see me. And no offense, but I told her, Bob had like dark, or caramel colored hair, like my son Dante, and parted in the middle and straight, and he always laughed. And every time he laughed, his cheeks would get rosy red. It was kind of funny, like almost like he got embarrassed, but he wasn't. It's just what happened. And when I saw his picture on Facebook the other day, they were at a concert at Pine Knob. He had solid gray hair, glasses. He looked like my grandfather, to be honest with you. No offense, Bob, because he's on my Facebook. But we're not even friends on Facebook. We're not, I don't know. We lost kind of touch, but that's okay. I thought, even to the last time I saw him, I thought he was a great guy. But somehow we lost touch. And I'm thinking, okay, I didn't borrow money from him. I didn't take his car. I didn't, nothing. And life just does that. It just ends friendships, But, because of Facebook, you see people and you're like, okay, why not? Right? I even got friendships with ex-girlfriends' husbands. I don't even know why. Or or girls that know me through another girl, their husbands will, friend me just to check me out. I'm like, it's crazy, my life. Like, I don't want your wife. I don't want your girl. I don't want your daughter. I don't want nobody. Just leave me alone. I'm happy, but anyway, she said something that was pretty interesting because she has a lot of friends here that are a big clique of friends. Here in Sylvan Lake, they all knew each other. They all hang out with each other. It's like a big circle that goes everywhere. Whoever, they go to concerts together, picnics together, lake parties together, whatever, right? But she says she likes her circle small. She goes, I think I got like 112 I can't remember what she said about the friendship, like how many she had, but it wasn't like mine where I got almost 2,000 people. And I don't even know I had that many. But she said something that's pretty intriguing because she's very well liked. And she, worked with all these people for years and years and years. I only worked there for a couple of years. They worked for like 20, 30 years. It's crazy, right? Which is interesting, it's cool. But she said, she kept saying to me at the end of the conversation we had, she said, I just want that tiny, tiny, tiny circle. The smaller, the better. And she said, I just like to, keep low key and everything. And she's happy. She's got a really nice personality, very effervescent, very outgoing, But some people don't like that. And I envy that. I think that's the greatest thing. I think it's really cool that people can be comfortable in their cliques, their skin, whatever. And I don't have a clique. I don't have that one friend. I mean, I guess I do when I'm with them, I can. But I don't have, Dante was that for me. I wasn't used to it. In fact, I remember somebody just asked me this. I go, I remember looking at the clock. It was 1:45, and he went to school 2 miles from my house. Troy High, right? That's what it was called. And I just remember going, I was never this excited with the prettiest girls I've ever dated that I thought I could never. You go, oh my God, he's going to pick me up in 2 days, 12 minutes and 16 seconds, or whatever, right? And I'm like, we all have that, right? We're counting down the seconds. I remember when I lost my kids and Sabrina was about to turn 18, I was posting the days, the weeks. I even had a counter, like a space counter, 30 hours, 12 minutes, and 19 seconds to go. And when I did, and when that thing hit the counter, that's when I saw her, not a microsecond less. And she hung out with me. And now I haven't seen Sabrina in a few months. So life's a weird thing. But anyway, it is now 56 minutes. I'm trying to get better, getting off at an hour. I don't know who's watching. It shows 0 people on my counter up here, right there. But this thing is really weird. I talked to the people that make this app. They're really smart people. They're from this part of the world. In fact, one of them was in Italy. I was talking in Milan. And real nice Italian fellow. He could have been an actor. And, it's, I really like the app. And I said to them, this app saved my life because it saved a lot of other people. And it made me feel like I had a purpose for a long time. Stupid purpose, but helping people is not stupid. It was the things I probably said that I probably shouldn't have said. But you know what? That's the way of the world. We're allowed to say whatever we want now, especially on this thing. So I try to be more careful. But I'm going to try to have a Zoom. And you'll get a number if you want. If you use it at your own discretion. If you don't use it, and I don't see you again, I wish you well. I hope this finds you well. And, my son would have been 23, September 13th. And when I was on that road looking at it going, why did you come up here? You were my best friend. Of all the things that went wrong and right in my life, you were the best thing. You lived for me, loved me. I never had a friend that wanted to hang out with me every minute of every single day like you did. And the one time you didn't, you died. And you took that from me. And when I was by the side of the highway, cars were coming around that corner like 75 miles an hour. And I thought, I was reaching into the back seat to find another picture because I carry a big thing of pictures, 8x12s laminated to put on those trees because they wear out after a while. Because, all that bad weather, the winter, all that. And I know that. I thought, what if one of these cars hits me, And I wasn't scared. I wasn't nervous. In fact, it gave me like a weird peace. Like, God, this pain will be gone. All the frustrations I have with human beings will be gone. The anger, the sadness, the why me? What the hell? What did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? What did I do? It was the most peace I had today, thinking that maybe a semi truck will hit me and just take me out. I didn't care. It's pretty sad, ain't it? And somebody said my ex-wife goes, he has suicidal ideations. And the fat, her little weirdo, I sorry she was, because she's a heinous person, her lawyer. And, she's just an unattractive, just a scary monster inside and out with no soul. And she's like, yeah, I can make up lies and I hate men and I hate you and I hate it. I can say anything I want. I'm like, I go, that part will be over. That's, I wanted to tell the judge, I go, they're the only one who makes me feel crazy. They're the only two people, my ex-wife and her. So I even brought that up. I don't want to ruin the moment. We have those people. That's a bad person, bad karma, bad soul, pretends to love God. Pure evil. We all have that person. Here's the thing. Don't become that person. Do not become that person. It's easy to slip and slide up that slippery slope, to get caught up, to get addicted, to say and do the wrong thing. It happens every single day. And it might happen to you microscopically where you're just living in that pain and that personal hell. I get it. That's why I was here. The only reason I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be that person that could relate to your pain. I don't have migraines, so I can't relate to that. I've never had menstrual cycles or pregnant, gave birth, so I can't relate to that pain. I've never had cancer, diabetes, COPD. The list goes on. In fact, every time I check off my medical charts, I just go, nope, none, zero. Even if I look at it, nope, I don't have that. Nope, I don't have that. Nope, I'm not allergic to that. Nothing. Even at my age, right? I didn't want to be the person that could relate to anybody that came to me. And then came to me later saying, I stopped following you, but now I get you. Right, Marco? Am I right? Still with Susan, right? This person, you know what I mean? That's all I'm going to say. So now it's time to transcend after 6 years to a better place. I've gotten more done than I've ever gotten done in my life. I've had a lot of betrayal. I've had a lot of bullshit. I've had a lot of this on the way, but I still managed to get through. I can't wait to freaking next week. I can't wait. I can't wait to go back to Nashville and see people. I can't wait. And if I do succeed and I do make all that money, I'm going to share it. But there's a lot of people in my life that probably won't get it. Not that they need it. They don't need it. And that's not why I'm doing it. But it's the reason I say it is because when I did have things, I did get those phone calls. I did. In fact, just so you know, I'm not being an asshole about it. A year ago, Russell, you probably remember this. This guy, my buddy Gary, who I'll see next week in Louisville, he told me about this. He took me all the way to this place, and he said, I got this friend who's a gazillionaire, not a millionaire, gazillionaire. And he owns this record label outside of Nashville. It's called Iron Gate Records. Well, anyway, I got to meet the guy, and we talked, and we did I did some live streaming. And the guy called me up, and he gave me my first Nash Talk logo that wasn't mine. And then he posted an article of his thing, that I was the new director and streaming consultant and blah, 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 blah. Well, and it looked really cool, right? You probably wonder what happened to that. Well, ultimately nothing happened with it. It still exists, but it didn't go anywhere. The guy was more hot air than he was. I mean, he could have filled a helium balloon festival in New Mexico. It was crazy. I mean, and Mark, if you're seeing it, you are, I mean, you mean well, but I know a lot of bullshitters here in Michigan. Oh, I own this. Oh, I own that. Oh, I'm worth $1 million. Oh, I was going to buy this company for $1 million. I hear it all the time. Dear God, it's crazy the bullshit I got to hear, but I got to go. Right. Well, when I shared that, I had over 250 messages from people that were on my Facebook that didn't follow me, that never liked my stuff. And I knew most of those people, more than 200 of them. Can you get me Morgan Wallen tickets? Can you introduce me to Miranda Lambert or Taylor Swift? I sing in a band. My kid is a great guitarist. My daughter, it was crazy. It was like, I don't know what famous people do, but it was unreal. And luckily I've been around a lot of it, so I knew how to handle it. But I go, Okay, wait a minute, slow your roll, pump the brakes. I didn't know what was going to happen. And ultimately nothing did happen, but I'm still friends with some of the people because of that. Um, and when I go back there, so I'm not trying to burn a bridge, but I was really disappointed that it didn't happen because the guy, he, and that happens to a lot of people. They talk before they think or do or accomplish. And I do it, but I'm always trying to put stuff out there. And, you know, like I've got a lot of songs out there and they're just templates, they're just demos. I mean, you may not like the song, but you can do whatever you want with the song. It's more the lyrics, the idea of the song, the melody of the song, and you can turn it into that. So at least I do things like that. Like my buddy Russell, I told him what to do. I said, I think he should do this, this, and this. It's not my cup of tea what he does, you know, but I love the guy and I think he's got a gimmick. So I pushed my idea onto him and he's used it and I think he's having fun with it. Right, Russell? I do that with a lot of people. I don't judge them. Even if I don't like the idea, I might say things to them to hurt their feelings or that hurts their feelings, not to hurt their feelings. But what it does is I'm just being honest because I said if I'm saying it to you, that's what everybody else is thinking, and I know that from personal experience. I says you don't want that. You want to get the positive mechanism going and draw in as much positive energy as possible, and you're going to get your haters. There's people that just cannot not hate. And haters love to do two things. They like to Google, Alexa, and they like to come up with phrases so they can attack the other person online. And they hope they get a bunch of people on there. That's because they got nothing to do. I'm not that guy. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe you should do this instead of that. Add more sugar, less vanilla, or more vanilla, less this, right? So, and that's what works for me. And does it always help? No, but it's better than nothing. And it's better than negative. So those are two things I try to keep minimal. And I hope that even if you've stayed on or see this later and you're like, God, whatever, it's like I've only tried, you notice I don't go on your Facebook posts, whether I agree with you in anything. I don't engage. I see it, I read it, it clicks in my head. And I'm like, but I hope they're okay. Because, at one point in time, they were nice to me. At one point in time, we had several moments where we laughed together, where we hung out together. And that was it. I know thousands of people like that. It was my business. It's like when you pay out like $800 for that ticket and you're like row 899, you're going, I love you. I love you. And your favorite person that you're trying to get with your phone a mile away, you go, see that little speck right there? That's Tim McGraw. Or that's right. And then he goes, I love you too. That's how it works, right? They got to come up with a term for that. It's not artificial love. It's I don't know. I don't even care. But you get the point, right? Oh, I gotta have a sip. Hold on. Bob Cossey? Are you kidding me? Is this the Bob that we used to Brett Michaels Bob? Whatever you call it. Is that your new? Wow. There's a guy on here right now. I don't know if he's still on or not. I don't know if I should say his name. We used to call him Bob. Really good looking guy. He was like a better looking Brett Michaels. Had long Fabio hair. I mean, beautiful blonde hair for a guy, chiseled, six pack. And we used to work together about 30 plus years ago, more than that. Bobby C. This guy was one of the nicest, sweetest, funniest guys. The girls loved him. In fact, girls used to think he looked, how they think I look like Stallone. Well, back then, I don't know what they thought I looked like. But they thought every time we'd go on tour together, and I had just quit a bigger group and I let myself go for a couple of years because I was, and it really sucked because this guy was in a lot better shape, because I was, I broke up with a girl and I was, working in the bar, and that was one of those years I was drinking. And I'm not a big drinker, but I was drinking. And but this guy was so funny and friendly, and then he moved to Japan, and it was kind of me and this other guy's brainchild to go there. So we set up this thing with these Japanese guys, and we were at this place. Uh, in fact, the guy that he became a friend of mine on Facebook like a year or two ago because a girl from Nashville worked there at a place called Rattlesnakes in Bellevue by the airport off of 94, good 30 miles from here. And we went and had Russ Conley, RUSS, and one of the greatest guys I worked for as a DJ, because he paid me more than everybody else, gave me, free drink tab. And he was always had money ready to go before the end of the night. Usually I got to wait an hour and a half, getting out there at 4 a.m. before you get paid. And they're always trying to short you. This guy was great. Well, this guy let us use his facility because he had an awesome facility. He had all these different things there, gym, everything. And so we auditioned for this. We were going to go on tour in Japan. And well, none of us ended up going, but somehow Bobby went. Bobby, I don't even know the story because I can't remember it. And but I guess I heard all these really cool things about you. And I'm going to tell you, Bobby, you're one of those guys. You're like Lloyd. Lloyd was another guy. He looked like Elvis's little brother. And, I love that guy too. But these guys instantly vanished from my life. Like we were on tour several days a week. We were touring all over the country. We had great times together. We laughed our asses off during the show, right? It was great. And then I was like the best friends you could ever have. And then all of a sudden, like a light switch went off. It was like, where'd they go? Where'd they go? And that's my life. My life is like a light switch. Like, where'd it go? But then I heard all these cool things, right? And then I haven't seen him since. And now I see him right here. And I saw he friend requested me. I get like about 20 friend requests a day. And I saw that and I go, is that Bob? And I'm going, I love that motherfucker. I just did. You were great. And not in a gay way. Don't worry. I mean, if you are, I don't care because I don't think you were because the ladies loved you. That was crazy. But anyway, yeah, it's one of those things, man. You just made my day. And it's part of the reason I do this, and that's why I came up with Misfits. Misfits is about people that are different, unique, past, present, living, dead. It's one of my goals to create something to motivate people, no matter who they are, where they are, what they do, to change the world, a little bit, just a little bit. That's all I want to do. And, before I die. And, and I don't want to live to be 100. I don't want to be 80 like my parents. I don't want to live to be 70. I got like 2 more years is enough, I think, for me. I'm like, then I can leave that, like the Truman story. I can go by, but I want to do a lot before I go. And even with everything that can be against you, money, this, that, right? And I've done okay. I really am. I was thinking about that while I was at my son's marker tonight. I go, part of me wanted to cry, but I smiled and I said, you know what? I've got some really cool people in my life. And sometimes, like today, Bo is a great example of like from out of nowhere when you least expect it. And the reason I can say that is because I hope, and only Bob can answer, or Bo, sorry, whatever you prefer, Mr. Bo, Ty Bo, Bo Derek, don't call me Bo Diddley. Okay. But anyway, because I was the MC and I used to make up all this shit with these guys singing or dancing. And, but anyway, I hope that in that time that we spent together years ago, that I said and or did something that he liked that allows him to come back 30 plus years later. This is the first time we're talking and you get to see it. And, I wish nothing but the best. In fact, we have a mutual friend that isn't doing very well, not too far from where I'm at. Joey, he's not doing well. And I hope, and I know you two were really close. I don't know, if something happened, because, I don't want to get into any of those things, because, I know things happen. But, um, like I said, I try to wish everybody the best. There's only a couple of people on this planet I don't. But yeah, so, he's a good example. So when you're watching this, because I know there's people that watch it, there's no less, and I swear on my soul, my son, my daughters, that there's, even on my worst show, there's at least 10 people, and that's the number 10. That was his number. And I'm not making this up, not exaggerating, not 1,000, not 1,000,000. There's at least 10 people that see this and will tell me that whatever I said or whatever I did helped them or helped somebody they know. 10 people. I was a decorated firefighter. One of my best friends, Keith, who's on here, who trained me. I didn't save that many people as a firefighter. And when I help people at my lowest, you're capable. And it will reward you with something. Yes, we all need a lot of money. Yes, we all need this. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen with anything, right? But people are out there in your corner, and they will lift you. Bob doesn't know anything. Bob, did you Venmo me any money? I mean, no. I wouldn't take money from Bob. I wouldn't take it. I'll call you Bob. I'll call you Bo if you want. When the girls call you Bo, is that like a nickname? Bo, because Bo means BAU. It's like, ooh, Bo. Yeah. Pretty ass. Yeah, man. He was. No, do I need some? Yeah, you got any? No, bro. Listen, I don't care if I was living in a dumpster. I would never take a dime from you. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't. But you know what I want? I want us to hook up. Are you in Michigan or the United States? Where the hell are you? Because this is broadcast worldwide. Yeah, because I'm in right now. I'm in Waterford, Michigan, and going back to Nashville. I'm driving down there. He had a stroke a couple of weeks ago. He was living in his car. That's all I can tell you. And it was like 100 degrees. Yeah, it's bad. I don't want to say too much on here. Sarasota. My parents where I'm staying right now, they have a place in Longboat Key. In fact, I used to fly my drone over the Armin Circle. In fact, the lady I taking care of, she's got a place right by the Van Weasel. What's that theater? Right off of not Tamiami. What's that? Yeah. In fact, I could get on a plane and come down there, man. Because they got in Bradenton. What's the airport? Allegiant. It's like $50 to fly to Allegiant. It could be there in 2 hours. Let's go. So wouldn't that be funny? God, you should come to Nashville. We used to go hang out. Because I don't know what you do now. Did you become a reverend or a priest, or what happened to you? I don't know what happened to you. Because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Oh no, I'm Hare Krishna now. Because come hang out. Oh yeah, that'd be great. God, Kazi, man, wow. You're the reason I'm still on. Actually, sounds like a plan. Yeah, it's great. Wow, dude, I'm so happy to hear. I can't say hear your voice. See your text. It's funny. Man, thank you, man. I'm a hyper realistic sculptor. You know what? That's what so do you have a shop like in the Armin Circle? Because they sell that kind of stuff, dolphins and everything like that for like $8 million. I could see you doing that. You're very because I know we were all into martial arts and stuff like that. You even taught me a move. I love that one move. Remember that one move where you can break free from a remember that the chokehold? Remember? Yeah, you taught me something. We were big into martial arts. But a hyper realistic sculptor. Where'd you learn that? I didn't know that was in you. That's cool though. That's very cool. Wow, that's great. So, well. I feel stupid because this is the one bad part about this. No, I do some work for Warner Brothers, Disney, etc. What? Cut it out. I'm writing a superhero movie. I started writing right before I met you. In fact, it's pretty cool. It's actually really cool. I've got like it's a trilogy, but I've been out working on it off and on for over since before we met, you and I. Um, wow. So you're self-taught. That's crazy. Yeah, but Warner Brothers Disney, because I used to work at Universal Studios in Orlando. I want to make the costumes. You know what? I had an AI draw some stuff up, but they didn't come out the way I wanted them to. I would love to do it because I want it to be realistic. I'll tell you the plot. I got to give you my number, or you know, Facebook message me. Facebook message me because you know what? I would love to do something with you. You were just one of those people. I really, that he's probably a good example without even thinking about it. Bob was one of these guys. He could have been super conceited because he was like the girls went nuts over this guy. Like we'd be in gas stations getting gas, and they wouldn't even look at me. I was like, yeah, they thought I was a gas attendant. I was driving the car, But anyway, yeah, Bob, they were just girls who wanted his autograph, and oh my God, it was crazy. But you were so down to earth and humble with us. You are a prime example of a good person. The good parts flow out of you. The good parts flow out of you. I know people that think they're like they're it, right? And they're not it, they're hit. But you were the shit. It was funny. You can check my work out at Bob Cause. Okay, hold on, I'll put this up on the screen. Yeah, that's cool. Show comments on here. Let me do this. Okay. Yeah, check your workout. All right, so whoever sees this, because what will happen is a lot of people, because I didn't announce it, but a lot of people will see this in the hours and days to come. And it used to be up here for months, like even years, but now they're taking everything down. But I record these onto YouTube. That's why, like the Misfits one, that's on my Misfits page and my personal page, and it stays up there. So even if it comes off of Facebook, it'll be on there. Oh, yeah. No, you just made me look good. That was it. I was like, I'm his friend. I pick up his clothes. Wow. That's great. That's great, man. Oh, wow. Bob, man, I feel like I got a celebrity on here. See, finally, it paid off. Yay. That's great, man. Wow. Can you hear me okay? I mean, because I got this, I love this microphone I have. I've been using it for a couple of years. It's a Blue Yeti, but I can sit back and I don't have to have this thing right next to my face. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Wow. So I'm sorry. I'm kind of buzzing about you being on here for some reason because you were just, I thought I'd never see you again, or hear from you again. So that just made my day. That just made my day. Yeah, I miss you too, man. Miss you too. I've got really good guys in my life. I got good people in my life, So, I know one day I won't be on this earth, and at least I've got this, if I was to tell the people, even the haters that I have, even the ones that used to be friends or, family or whatever, and I've got a lot of good family, both. I shouldn't say that, but record yourself. Record yourself. Try to say something cool, something funny, something that your friends or family or kids or grandkids can see or whoever. Because, when you leave this place, at least I got 8 million hours out there doing this. And hopefully you took the good parts out. And I know Bob was on here right now. He would make you smile. He'd make you laugh. He was just that guy. I used to sit in the back when we were waiting for like guys doing stuff or whatever. It was just like, I didn't want the show to start because he was just, he would just be always, it was like, you ever go to a party and like you're tired and you're like, I'm not going to, we'll leave early. We'll leave like 10 o'clock. We'll skate out of there. And we got a lot of shit to do in the morning, right? Like tonight, right? And then you go on and all of a sudden you see that one person and you're hanging out with them that you haven't seen in a long time. Or the next thing you know, it's 4 a.m. and you still don't want to leave. And you're like, but you're still there. That's Bob. That was you, brother. It was like, yeah, it's like people ask me, did you like dancing? And I go, to be honest with you, I would love to dance. I was a good dancer because I'm on popping and locking and doing the Michael Jackson crap. But it was the camaraderie with some of the guys. Did you know that Dave Campo died? The guy that owned the show, he got in a plane crash at Mount Clemens here in Michigan. Him and his wife and his kid. He was flying his twin engine, and he crashed into an apartment a couple of years ago. It was on all the news here. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that. Did you hear that story, Bob? It was crazy. And the sad part was that I got to tell you, if you guys are still on this one or something, this is sad but funny. I got along with Dave because Dave owned the show, and but he was very arrogant and conceited, and he just whatever. He was just very hard to be around. The guys hated him. And I remember we had these big speakers, they're like 4 foot, 5 foot speakers, and they weighed a ton. This is before, everything was lighter and digital. And we were on the top of this show. Do you remember this, Bob? Do you remember? And they were at the top of the stairs, and these were this big old building, and the stairs were like a bank stairs, like concrete and metal, right? Concrete and metal. So they last for 100 years. Well, anyway, these big wooden speakers, these guys we were supposed to carry them down to put them in the van for the next show. And these guys, and it's like 30 stairs going down, right? So you would die if you fell down. You'd be dead by the time you hit halfway through, right? If you fell down them. And these things were pervious, bulletproof. And next thing, these guys are they're sitting at the top of the speaker. They're sitting on the top step with the speakers like a little kid and pushing the speakers off. Remember that? I'm like, what are you guys doing? And so, and these speakers would go kaboom, kaboom. I mean, loud, like you think a bomb is going off every time they keep rolling down the stairs. You remember this, Bob? And I know you do because you're one of the guys doing it. And I think Joey started it. And anyway, so we loaded him up for the next show. And I remember that we did the show in whatever city we were in. I think we were in North Carolina. And Dave's going to the speakers. He's listening, there's these buzzing sounds. Probably broke apart inside. Yeah, you remember. So okay. And what was even funnier was that when we're driving, because we're several hundred miles between each show, right? So we're driving 5-6 hours in the show, and I have this one car, and it's a sedan, and you could seat probably 4 people comfortably, 4, and there's 5 of us in the back because I didn't want to drive with Dave, right? So Dave was in front of us, and he's going, keep up with us. So we're on the highway. I don't know what highway it was, maybe 95 or something like that. And we're doing about 80 miles an hour following because, we have to get to the next show. We're a couple hours away. And next thing you know, we get off the ramp because we just wanted to ditch them. So we get off the exit ramp, right? And you're on the floor, and we get off the exit. You remember this? We pulled in and we tried to get away from Dave, right? And Dave, he must have seen us on the highway. No, he stops in the middle of the highway, and we're way off this big ramp, right? And Dave is backing up off the on-ramp. You know how you get on the on-ramp to get back on the highway? He's coming backwards on the on-ramp trying to find him. And he couldn't understand why because we didn't have cell phones back then, And we were trying to lose this guy. And I'm driving. I felt like a jerk, because I'm going to get the shit for it. But these guys wanted me. In fact, they grabbed the wheel. They made me get off. They were all grabbing the wheel from me and pulling us off. Do you remember that? Oh my God. That was so funny because they couldn't stand Dave. Oh my God. I know Bob remembers this shit. He's laughing right now. And that was the things you remember. Oh, it's crazy. But we had good times, didn't we? And the girls, dear Lord. And we all had our own rooms, I think. No, I think you guys shared. I requested my own room. Yes, great times. Oh my God. I feel like I'm going to set on fire now because of oh my God. But you guys are the best, man. Absolute best. And great times, memory lane. Message me. I'm going to get off. Is there anything else? Did you want to say anything else before you go? Because you're the star of the show. Remember we used to say that? Whoever got it, we used to get dollar bills for tips, and sometimes they'd even tear them. Girls were doing that whatever. But if you got a 5 or a 10 or a $20 bill, the higher the bill, because somebody would give you that they would wave it. Star of the show. Remember that? Oh man. Oh, that was too much. I'll hit your messenger. Love you, bro. Well, love you too. All right, guys. Listen, that's it. I'm gonna have get you guys off. I've been on an hour and a half, and have a great night. And I will do the Zoom thing, and I guess that's it. And let's see, where's my thing at here? I'm gonna play my song out, and I hope you guys have a really amazing weekend. End of the summer, kids are going back to school. Take lots of pictures, hug them. If you're fighting with them or they're not doing everything you want them to do, the chores, the whatever, you know what? I would pay $1 billion cash. I'd give my teeth anything to let them go, you know what? Enjoy your life. I got it. I'll take the garbage out. I'll fix that. I have the last piece of food in my fridge. Take whatever I got. I'd rather have that than not. So, and if you got somebody in your life out there, treat them better, find a way, that won't always work, but that karma will come back to you. Look at Bob, I know it's because we were good to each other back then for no reason, just because. And you know what? I'm going to think about that guy, because he was just such a good person. And I had people like that in my life. Some are gone, some I'll never see again, some I don't even know how to get a hold of. And but once in a while, blue moon, you get lucky, like tonight. And that's all I'm trying to tell you, because I know there's people out there sad and lonely and pretending not to be, and they got to hold their head up high. They got to fake it till they make it, but don't go and do too much of the wrong thing to sustain that. Just take a breath, go, I can get it. I can do this. I'll get there. And before you know, that day turns into a week, a month, a year. And the pain don't go away, but you learn to deal with it better. They told me that, and I didn't want to believe it. But that's why I'm able to do this, because I don't want you to feel that pain or that loneliness. And the worst part is that most people that you hope will be there for you to listen to you over and over and over. So I hope that this is that to you, where you don't feel alone, you don't feel depressed, you don't feel whatever, no matter how good your life used to be or was yesterday or whatever. Because you know what? There's people that have got, you could be in a Titanic submarine and get crunched, there's a million different things that could happen. And that sounds morbid, right? My point is, you don't know what's going to happen. And I hope you live 100 years of happiness. But in the meantime, your goal is to make sure that not only you good, but the people around you are good, and extrapolate and share the best parts. The end. Have a great night. And again, I hope this finds you well.
We just evaporate in the fabric of time, dissolving memories, but some stay behind, that leave us temporarily blind. But I can see you now, and I hope this finds you well. This simple message is me confessing I have no clue. We stopped talking since then. I hope this finds you well. My only guess is you're just suppressing all the feelings. The years may pass us by or intertwine the earth and sky, and hold on to everything we were. At least that's how I see it. And I will never let go. So I hope this finds you well. This simple message is me confessing I have a clue, and we stopped talking since then. I hope this finds you well. My only guess is you're just a blessing. All good feelings keep happening, my friend. And I hope this finds you well.